Back. So let's begin part 2. So what is part 2? So like I said, percents, well, we talked about this before. How else can I write percents? Well, actually first I'm going to get rid of this 110%. That's not likely, or that's not possible to write as a probability. So anyway, 100%. Can't I write 100% in a different way? Of course I can. Percent means divide by 100. So another way of writing it, I could write 100 divided by 100. Of course. I could write it as a fraction. How about 75%? Of course I can. I could write it as 75 over 100. Easy. How about 50? Obviously, I could write that as 50 over 100. Alright, 25%, obviously, 25 over 100. Well, how about 0%? Well, I could still write it as a fraction. It's kind of boring. 0 over 100. Okay, so that's one thing we could talk about when we talk about probability. They might give it to you as a fraction, right? They might say, oh, the chances is 100 over 100. Or they might say the chance is 75 over 100. But can't we rewrite this? Of course we can. Rewrite this, right? We divide the top and bottom by 25, divide by 25. What would I get? I would get 3/4. So they might say the probability of something happening is 75%, or they could say the chances or the probability of rain is 3/4. They could do that. Or they might say the probability of it raining is 1/2, or the probability is 1/4, or just plain 0. So, actually 100%, what is that as a fraction? You could say 1 over 1, or just 1, but the idea here is that percent, instead of just saying percent, which we use almost always in real life, when we talk about, right, theoretical probability, experimental probability, we start talking about fractions. Because when we talk about fractions, we could model or talk about real life situations. For instance, for an example, let's just say I have a jar. Okay? I have a jar, and we have a raffle, and there are a lot of tickets in this raffle. Lots of them. Okay, so that's a lot of tickets. Well, what does this mean if I say, okay, what is the probability, right, of me picking a ticket with my name on it, right? It's a raffle. Let's just say there are 100 tickets in here, right? So this 75 over 100, this probability, well, probability or percent means part over the whole. So just say, right, the whole thing would be the 100 tickets, and 75 of them has my name on it. Well, is it likely for me to pick my name if there's 75 out of 100? Yeah, it's pretty likely. How about if I said it was, say, 90 over 100? There's 90 tickets with my name in here. Is it likely for me to pick it out if there's 100 of them? Yeah, right? And as a fraction, you would write it as 9 out of 10. Right? So even though I reduce it, I'm talking about, say, a smaller container now with only, say, 10 tickets, right? The probability, if there's 9 names out of 10 tickets, right, it's the same probability as 90 over 100. So anyway, like I said, probability could be written as a fraction. And just like a percent we talked about, it's consisting of a part over a whole. So anyway, let's say now instead there's another way of writing percents. What's the other way? The other way, as we know, is to write it as a decimal. Okay, 100%, I could move the decimal place twice, and what's my decimal? I get 1. Okay, well, how about, say, 75%? Well, I could do the actual division here, 3 divided by 4, or I could use the percent divide by 100, move the decimal place twice, I get 0.75. Over here, also, I can move the decimal place twice, I get 0.5. Or over here, move the decimal place twice, I get 0.25. 0, it just remains as 0. So the idea here is that we could say the probability of rain is 3/4, But we could also say the probability of it raining is 0.75, or say 0.5, 0.25, and everything in between. So the idea, again, we already said that percent is only from 0% to 100%. But we could also, right, talk about percent from, right, using fractions or decimal, and it has to be between 0 and 1. So that's the idea. Probability is from 0% to 100%, or from the number 0 to the number 1. So that's extremely important. Probability, and a lot of times, right, just so that you know how probability works, they're going to always test you about the numbers from 0 to 1 as a probability. So let's, in the next lesson, or next part, we're going to just do a few problems. It'll be really short. Please take a look.